Have you ever walked through a beautiful retirement community and thought, this feels safe, comfortable, maybe even perfect? The lawns are trimmed just right, the smiles seem warm, the dining room smells like home cooking, and for a moment, it feels like the hard decisions are finally behind you. But let me gently slow you down for a second, because what you see on that first visit is often very different from what daily life feels like once the door closes behind you. Many people over 60 start looking at retirement communities because they want peace of mind. They want less stress, fewer responsibilities, and the comfort of knowing help is nearby. That's completely understandable. But what most people aren't told is that these places often operate by quiet rules that don't appear in brochures, tours, or friendly conversations with the sales staff. And those rules can shape your freedom, your finances, and even how you feel about your own independence. Today, we're talking honestly about those hidden rules, not to scare you, but to empower you. Because the right choice can bring comfort and stability, while the wrong one can quietly take more from you than you ever expected. Let's ease into this together, starting with something many people overlook entirely. One of the first hidden rules is that independent living often isn't as independent as it sounds. On paper, it feels reassuring. You have your own apartment, you can come and go, you're not in a nursing home. But in practice, independence inside a retirement community usually exists within boundaries you didn't set. Meal times are fixed. Activities follow a schedule designed for the group, not for you. Even simple changes, like having guests stay over or rearranging your space, may require approval. Over time, these small limitations can add up. You may notice that you're adjusting your habits to fit the system instead of the system supporting your lifestyle. Maybe you stop cooking because the dining plan is mandatory and already paid for. Maybe you skip a morning walk because doors are locked until a certain hour. None of this feels dramatic at first, but slowly your daily choices become fewer. The real question to ask yourself isn't, is this place independent, but how much independence am I willing to trade for convenience? Another rule that catches many seniors off guard is how quickly costs can change once you're settled in. The base price may look manageable when you sign the contract, but that price rarely stays still. Fees often increase yearly, sometimes faster than inflation. Extra services, even small ones, can quietly stack up. Help with medications, transportation, housekeeping beyond the basics, even assistance after a minor illness can trigger a jump to a higher fee tier. What makes this especially tricky is that moving out later is emotionally and physically harder than moving in. Once you've built routines, friendships, and familiarity, you're less likely to leave, even when costs rise beyond what feels comfortable. This creates a quiet pressure to accept increases rather than start over somewhere new. The rule here isn't just about money, it's about understanding how financial flexibility can slowly shrink if you don't plan for these changes from the beginning. There's also an unspoken rule about how health changes are handled. Many retirement communities promise continuity, making it sound like you can stay no matter what happens. But in reality, most places are designed for a specific level of health and independence. When you cross that line, even slightly, the tone can change. Suddenly, conversations start about next steps or higher levels of care. And those next steps often mean either paying significantly more or moving again. This can feel deeply unsettling. At a stage of life when stability matters most, you may find yourself facing another transition you didn't expect. The key here is not fear, but clarity. Understanding exactly where a community draws the line helps you decide whether it truly fits your long-term needs, not just your current situation. As we continue this conversation, it becomes clear that choosing a retirement community isn't just about amenities or appearances. It's about understanding the subtle systems that shape everyday life after the move. Once you start seeing these patterns, you begin to ask different questions, deeper ones, the kind that protect your freedom and peace of mind. And that awareness opens the door to even more important things to consider before making a final decision. As you keep thinking about all of this, another quiet rule begins to surface, one that often affects people emotionally more than they expect. It's the way social life is subtly managed inside many retirement communities. On the surface, it looks wonderful. There are activities every day, group outings, game nights, exercise classes, and cheerful calendars packed with events. It gives the impression that loneliness simply can't exist there. But the reality is more complicated. When social life is organized for you, it slowly stops being something you choose and becomes something you're expected to participate in. You may notice gentle pressure to attend events, to be visible, to stay engaged. If you prefer solitude, quiet mornings, or smaller circles, that preference can start to feel like a problem rather than a personal choice. Some residents begin to feel guilty for wanting time alone, as if stepping back means something is wrong with them. Over time, this can change how you relate to yourself. Instead of listening to what you need that day, you may find yourself asking what the community expects of you. True connection comes from choice, not obligation. And while organized activities can be helpful, especially for meeting people at first, they shouldn't replace your right to shape your own social rhythm. It's important to notice whether a community respects individuality or quietly nudges everyone toward the same version of active aging. Another hidden rule that deserves attention is how decision-making slowly shifts away from you. In many retirement communities, especially larger ones, policies are designed for efficiency and liability, not personal preference. Rules about safety, uniformity, and risk management often override individual judgment. At first, this might feel comforting. Someone else is handling the details. Someone else is watching out for you. But as time passes, you may notice that your voice carries less weight. Requests take longer. Exceptions become harder to get. Decisions are explained to you rather than made with you. Even when staff members are kind and well-meaning, the structure itself limits flexibility. This can be frustrating for people who have spent a lifetime making their own choices, solving their own problems, and trusting their instincts. The shift is subtle. It doesn't happen overnight. But one day, you may realize you're asking permission for things you once decided without a second thought. That realization can be unsettling, especially if independence has always been a core part of your identity. It's worth paying attention to how much input residents truly have, not just in theory, but in daily life. Then there's the rule about relationships with staff, which is rarely discussed openly. Staff turnover in retirement communities can be high. Caregivers, aides, and even managers may change frequently. While this isn't always visible during tours, it becomes very noticeable once you're living there. Relationships you build may be temporary. Familiar faces may disappear without explanation. This matters more than people realize. Trust takes time. Feeling safe and understood depends on continuity. When staff changes often, residents may stop opening up or asking for help simply because it feels exhausting to start over again and again. This can lead to unmet needs, emotional withdrawal, or a sense of being unseen. A community that truly supports seniors invests in stable staffing and respectful relationships, not just polished appearances. It's not about perfection. It's about whether the environment encourages genuine human connection or treats interactions as tasks to be completed. As these layers come into view, another important truth emerges. Retirement communities are businesses. That doesn't make them bad, but it does shape how they operate. Decisions are influenced by budgets, occupancy rates, and liability concerns. Understanding this helps you see situations more clearly and advocate for yourself more effectively. When something feels off, it often is. Your instincts matter. If a policy feels restrictive, if a response feels dismissive, or if promises feel vague, those signals are worth listening to. You've lived long enough to recognize patterns, even when they're politely disguised. All of this isn't meant to suggest that retirement communities can't be positive or supportive. Many people thrive in them, but thriving usually happens when expectations are realistic and choices are informed. Awareness gives you power. It allows you to enter any arrangement with your eyes open, your boundaries clear, and your priorities intact. As the picture becomes clearer, one final hidden rule stands out, perhaps the most important of all. It has less to do with buildings or policies, and more to do with how you see yourself in this next chapter of life. And understanding that can change everything about the decision you're about to make. That final hidden rule is the one almost no one talks about, yet it quietly shapes everything else. Once you move into a retirement community, it becomes very easy to start seeing yourself through the lens of the place you live. The environment, the routines, the language used around you can slowly redefine how you think about your own abilities, your role, and your future. Without anyone ever saying it out loud, the message can become, "This is where life slows down," or worse, "This is where life winds down." When that idea settles in, even gently, it can change how you show up each day. You might stop trying new things because the community already has a plan for you. You might lower your expectations for yourself because everyone around you seems to be doing the same. This isn't about age, it's about mindset, and places that are meant to support you should never shrink your sense of possibility. The most important question to ask before choosing any retirement community isn't about the pool, the dining room, or the view. It's whether the place encourages you to keep growing, deciding, and living on your own terms. Do residents talk about their passions or mostly about schedules and rules? Are you treated like a full adult with a lifetime of experience or like someone who needs to be managed? Those answers matter more than any brochure ever will. Now, take a quiet moment and think about what you truly want this chapter of life to feel like. Not what others expect, not what seems practical on the surface, but what actually brings you peace. For some, that may be a well-run community with clear boundaries and shared routines. For others, it may be staying put longer, downsizing independently, or creating a support system that doesn't revolve around a single institution. There is no one right path, only the one that aligns with your values. If you do decide to explore a retirement community, go slowly, visit more than once, come at different times of day, talk to residents when staff aren't nearby, ask how often fees increase, ask what happens when health changes, ask what choices residents have when they don't want to follow the usual routine. Pay attention not just to the answers, but to how comfortable people seem giving them. Remember, choosing where to live is one of the most personal decisions you'll ever make. It deserves time, honesty, and respect. You are not being difficult by asking questions, you are being wise. You've spent decades building a life, making decisions, and adapting to change. You don't lose that ability just because you reach a certain age. If any part of this conversation resonated with you, you're not alone. Many seniors feel the same mix of hope and uncertainty when thinking about the future. If you're comfortable, share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Your perspective may help someone else who's quietly wrestling with the same questions. And if you found this discussion helpful, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to talk honestly about aging, independence, and making choices that truly support your well-being. No pressure, no fear, just clear information and real conversation. No matter where you live or what you decide, remember this: your life is still yours, your voice still matters, and this stage of life can be one of the most meaningful, grounded, and fulfilling yet. Here's to making choices that honor who you are and the life you've lived, and to continuing forward with clarity, confidence, and hope.